My child, stop what you are doing, for you and I need to talk right now. Set everything else aside and listen closely, because I am not speaking to a crowd in this moment. I am speaking to you. I have watched what you have been enduring, and I never wanted your trials to press you this hard. But the enemy has pushed too far, and I will not stand back any longer. I am stepping in, and I have made a very serious decision about your life. Hear these words all the way to the end, because near the end I will place a key in your hands. It is the key to the rescue you have been begging me for. If you turn away too soon, you will walk past the door I'm about to open. So quiet your mind, open your heavy heart. Stay with me until the last word has been spoken. This is not an ordinary moment, and these are not ordinary words. A decree has gone out from my throne concerning your future, and it cannot be recalled. I have weighed every hidden battle you fought when no one else was in the room. I have heard every question you whispered into the dark when you believed you were alone. You were never alone. I was closer than the breath in your chest. But before I tell you what I have decided, I must warn you about something, and I need you to receive it with a steady heart. There is a scheme moving quietly near your home. Someone you have trusted has been listening to a voice that is not mine. Plans have been whispered behind closed doors, plans that touch your peace, your place, and what I have given into your keeping. I am not telling you this to frighten you. I am telling you because I see what is hidden, and nothing planned in darkness escapes my sight. Do not try to guess the name. Do not turn your mind into a courtroom. That is not your assignment. Your assignment is to draw close to me, because I am your defender, and I alone see the whole picture. The ones who plot in secret believe they are clever. They do not know that I have already read every page of their plan, and I have already written its ending. My decision did not come from anger. It did not come from impatience. It was born from my deep and unshakable love for you, and from the purpose I wrote into your life long ago. I stood beside you in the bitter seasons when you thought I was far away. I turned aside dangers you never saw coming. I held your mind together when the weight of life pressed down on you like a stone. Now, the time has come for me to act in a way that will leave no doubt, in you or in anyone who watches you, that I am with you and I am for you. What I have decided will shift the ground beneath your path. It will close doors that were never meant to hold you, doors that kept you circling through worry and lack. It will open doors you believed were sealed forever. It will separate you from what drains you and carry you into the places you were made for. I do not speak these words lightly. I speak them so your heart can be ready for the change. I know how tired you are. I know about the smile you wear so others will not worry, and the questions you carry when the house goes quiet at night. You have been running on almost nothing for a long time. Hear me, my child. You do not have to hold everything together anymore. Drop your shoulders. Breathe out slowly. I am taking the heavier end of the load, and I will not let it fall. You have walked through fire, and though you cannot see it in yourself, you came out of the flames stronger and wiser than you went in. You faced battles that would have flattened others. Yet here you are, still breathing, still listening, still reaching for me. That reaching, fragile as it sometimes felt, moved heaven more than you know. Faith the size of a seed is still faith, and I honor it. The season of silence is over. I was never absent in that silence, but I know how long it felt to you. Now I am speaking plainly, and I will keep speaking as you walk forward. I am taking what the enemy meant to break you, and turning it into the strongest proof of my goodness that the people around you have ever seen. Your losses will not write the final line of your story. I will write it, and my hand does not tremble. So this is where we begin. A warning, so you will watch. A decision, so you will hope. And a promise, so you will stand. In the words that follow, I will show you how to guard your home, how to release what poisons you, and how to walk into what I have prepared. I will also show you the one thing you must surrender before the door swings open. Listen with your whole heart, for every word from here forward is part of your deliverance. Do not measure what I am saying by what your eyes can see today. The room around you looks the same. The troubles look the same. But in the unseen realm, everything has already started to move. Orders have gone out. Help is being gathered. Paths are being cleared while you sit and listen. What I decree does not wait for circumstances to agree with it. Circumstances bend to my word, and my word has gone out concerning you. If you believe that I am speaking to you in this very hour, answer me now. Declare your amen, and let it stand as your agreement with heaven. Now let me speak more about your home, because your home is not just walls and a roof. It is the ground I planted you on. It is the place where I have met you in the early mornings and the late hours. It is where prayers have soaked into the floorboards, and where I have covered you while you slept. When the enemy aims at your home, he is not aiming at furniture. He is aiming at your rest, your inheritance, and the quiet place where you and I speak. The one who schemes against you does not act alone. Another has joined them, someone you would not expect, someone whose loyalty you never thought to question. I tell you this not to plant suspicion in every face you meet, but to move you toward me instead of toward panic. When I reveal a danger ahead of time, it is always so my child can pray instead of stumble. Warnings from my mouth are mercy wearing a stern voice. So here is what I ask of you. First pray, and not with borrowed words. Pray with your whole heart. Walk through your home, room by room if you are able, and speak my name over each one. Say aloud, this home belongs to the Lord. This ground is holy. No plan formed against this house will stand. When you speak those words in faith, you are not performing a ritual. You are agreeing with what I have already established, and your agreement matters in the unseen world. Picture my protection the way my servant Elisha's helper finally saw it, when his eyes were opened and the hills were full of horses and chariots of fire. What surrounded that servant surrounds you. My hosts stand at your doors. My presence fills your rooms like light that has no shadow in it. Nothing unclean passes that guard without my permission, and I have not given it. Second, stay watchful, but do not become afraid. There is a difference between a soldier on the wall and a prisoner of dread. The soldier watches with steady breath because he trusts the one who set him there. The prisoner jumps at every sound because he believes he is alone. You are not alone, so watch like the soldier. Notice what your spirit notices. A change in someone's tone, an odd insistence, a kindness that feels rehearsed, a question that reaches for information it has no reason to need. These small signals are not accidents. They are my quiet nudges, teaching you to discern. Do not confront anyone in anger. Do not announce what you know. Do not gather allies for a battle I never assigned you. If action is needed in the natural world, I will show you plainly. Tend to the simple, wise things. Secure what should be secured. Be careful what you tell, and to whom. Guard your words the way a wealthy man guards his storehouse, for loose words have opened more gates to the enemy than broken locks ever did. Third, keep your heart clean while I work. This may be the hardest thing I ask. Do not let bitterness take root against the ones moving in the shadows. Bitterness feels like armor, but it is a leak in your walls. When you release them into my hands, you are not excusing what they have done. You are refusing to carry poison on my behalf. Vengeance is mine. Justice is mine. I have never once lost a case I chose to judge. I want you to understand why this attack has come now, at this exact season. The enemy does not waste effort on people going nowhere. He watched the same thing I watched, the decree going out over your life, and he panicked. This scheme against your home is not proof that you are cursed. It is proof that you are positioned. He hopes to shake your foundation before your new season arrives, because he knows that if you stay planted in your place, in your peace, and in your faith, you will become a wall he cannot climb. So do not read this trouble as abandonment. Read it as confirmation. Storms gather around houses that are about to be filled. And remember what I did in the days of Job, when the accuser had to ask permission before he could touch anything, and even then a boundary was set that he could not cross. No hand moves against you without passing my throne first, and my throne does not sleep. Some nights you may feel a heaviness in a certain room, an unease you cannot explain. Do not brush it aside and do not fear it. Stand in that place and pray. Speak my promises out loud until the air itself feels different. Your voice, joined with my word, carries authority you have barely begun to use. What you bind on earth is bound in heaven. What you loose on earth is loosed in heaven. Bind the scheme. Loose my peace. Then sleep, because the watch does not depend on your eyes staying open. It depends on mine, and mine never close. I also ask you to be still at some point each day, even briefly. The enemy's plan needs noise to survive. My plan is revealed in quiet. In the stillness I will drop understanding into your spirit, sometimes as a thought that arrives with unusual peace, sometimes as a dream, sometimes as a knowing you cannot trace. Write down what I show you if you can. Not every impression is mine, but you will learn my voice the way a sheep learns its shepherd, by walking with me daily, not by straining in a crisis. My child, the ones who plot believe they are moving toward victory. They are actually walking toward exposure. Every hidden agreement will come into the light. Every lie will unravel from the inside. You will not need to lift a finger to make it happen. Your part is faith, prayer, and a guarded, forgiving heart. My part is everything else, and I have never failed at my part. If you trust me to stand watch over your home and your life, speak it now. Say aloud, I rest under your protection, Lord, and let those words settle over your house like a covering. Now let me open my heart about the decision itself, because you deserve to know what has been settled concerning you. I have decided to end the long season of barely holding on. I have decided that the weight you have carried has reached its limit, and that the next stretch of your road will look nothing like the last one. I am not patching the old life. I am building something new, from the foundation upward. This decision will deliver you, but deliverance is only the beginning. A prisoner set free at the gate still needs somewhere to go. So I am not only bringing you out, I am bringing you in. Into rest for your worn-out heart, into strength for your battered spirit, into rooms I furnished for you before you ever knew their names. The same voice that said, "Let there be light," has said, "Let there be a new season for my child," and creation itself makes way when I speak. But hear me carefully. A decision of this size comes with an invitation, and the invitation is trust. Not the careful, half-guarded trust you have offered before, with one hand on my promise and one hand on your backup plan. I'm inviting you into open-handed trust, the kind Abraham showed when he walked toward a land he had never seen. the kind the widow of Zarephath showed when she baked the last of her flour for my prophet first, and her jar refused to run empty from that day on. That kind of trust always shows itself in what the hand releases. Fear grips. Faith releases. Fear counts what is left. Faith counts on me. You have lived a long time under the quiet teaching of lack, the voice that says there will never be enough. Hold on, protect yourself, because no one else will. That voice sounds sensible, but it is a chain. I am breaking it today, and I will ask you to help me break it, because chains of the heart are broken by acts of the will. My child, I am asking you to place a portion of what you have, something of real weight, upon the altar of this work, as gold laid on the scales of this calling. Let it be a seed sown into deep water, an offering set on stone, not held back in fear. This is proof that your trust rests in my hand to provide, and that your heart no longer clings to lack. What you release in faith does not leave your life. It moves ahead of you into the harvest I am preparing. Now let your heart settle again, and let me keep unfolding what this decision means. There are doors closing behind you, even now. Do not mourn them. Some of those doors led to rooms where your spirit grew smaller every time you entered. Some led to tables where you were tolerated but never valued. Some led to work that ate your years and gave you crumbs. I closed them because I love you, the way a father pulls a child back from a road. Not to punish the child, but because he sees what is coming faster than small eyes can. And there are doors opening that you have not dared to imagine. I will not describe them all now because you would not believe me yet. And that is all right. Belief will grow as you walk. What I will tell you is this: the new doors match the person you have become in the fire, not the person you were before it. You could not have carried this next season earlier. Now you can. That is not flattery. That is the judgment of the one who weighs hearts. I also want to speak to the resentment that has tried to wrap itself around you. You have been let down by people who should have stood by you. You have swallowed disappointments that no one ever apologized for. You have given help that was forgotten before the week ended. I saw every one of those moments, and I am not asking you to pretend they did not happen. I am asking you to hand me the record, because as long as you hold the record, you are the judge, and the judge can never leave the courtroom. Hand it to me and walk out into the sunlight. Court is my burden now. Stop replaying the old scenes, the conversation you wish had gone differently, the choice you would give anything to take back, the person who walked away. Every hour spent in yesterday is an hour stolen from the road I have set before you today. I am not leading you backward, so there is nothing for you in that direction but echoes. When the memories rise, and they will, do not fight them with clenched teeth. Simply turn and speak to me. Say, Lord, that belongs to you now. Then take one step forward, any step, and I will meet you in it. There is a spiritual law woven into this transition, and I want you to understand it plainly. New wine is not poured into old wineskins, or the skins burst and the wine is lost. Before I pour, I prepare the vessel. That is what this whole conversation is. I am preparing you. The releasing, the forgiving, the trusting, the watching, these are not chores I invented to delay your blessing. They are the stretching of the vessel, so that when the wine comes, nothing is wasted and nothing breaks. So do not despise the instructions that feel small. Naaman almost missed his healing because the command to wash in the Jordan seemed too plain for a man of his rank. The widow, gathering jars, was told to borrow more than seemed reasonable, and the oil flowed exactly as far as her obedience did. It is the same with you. The size of what I pour will follow the size of what you prepare. Prepare largely. Expect largely. I am not a god of thimbles. I am the God of the open heavens, and I have decided that it is your time to stand under them. Let me teach you now about the two voices that will compete for your attention in the days ahead, because recognizing them will save you from many wounds. The first voice is fear. Fear speaks quickly and loudly. It rushes you. It paints the worst ending to every story and calls the painting wisdom. It says, act now before it is too late. And then it says, it is already too late. Why act at all? Fear contradicts itself constantly, because its purpose is not to guide you. Its purpose is to exhaust you. My voice is different. I do not rush my children. Even my warnings come wrapped in steadiness. When I speak, there is weight without panic, urgency without chaos. My voice makes you want to pray. Fear makes you want to spiral. My voice brings a path. Fear brings a maze. Learn this difference and test every thought against it. Whatever drains your strength before you have taken a single step did not come from me. The enemy knows he cannot cancel what I have decreed, so he has shifted his aim. If he cannot stop the blessing, he will try to make sure you are too distracted to walk in it. Watch for this. Sudden, urgent troubles that demand your whole mind and dissolve into nothing. Old temptations returning in new clothing. Even good things, busy things, helpful things, arriving at exactly the wrong time, all of them tugging at your attention like children pulling at a sleeve. Distraction is his last weapon. Do not hand him your focus, for your focus is the doorway your faith walks through. Now I must go deeper into the matter of forgiveness, because it guards everything else. I told you to release the ones who plotted against you. I know what that costs. Betrayal from a stranger bruises. Betrayal from a friend cuts to the bone, because they used a key you gave them. David knew this pain when he wrote that it was not an enemy who reproached him, for that he could have endured, but his companion, the one he had walked with in good company. Joseph knew it when the brothers who shared his father's table sold him to strangers and sat down to eat. But watch what Joseph understood by the end. Standing before those same brothers with all the power in Egypt at his fingertips, he said, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to save many people alive." He did not deny the evil. He simply saw a larger hand at work above it. I am asking you to borrow Joseph's eyes before you have Joseph's vantage point. Trust now what you will see plainly later, that even this betrayal is being bent into the shape of your promotion. Forgiveness does not mean you open your door again to those who broke your trust. Wisdom and forgiveness walk together. You can release a person from your bitterness and still release them from your table. What I am removing from your life, do not chase. Some people were appointed to a season, and the season has ended. Let the tide take what the tide brought. Those who belong to your future will not need to be begged to treat you well. Be discerning as well with what you share in this season. Joseph told his dreams to brothers who could not bless them, and it cost him years. Not everyone who asks how you are doing is gathering material for prayer. Some are gathering material. Guard the tender things I have spoken to you. Carry them quietly, the way Mary carried what the shepherd said, pondering it in her heart. There will be a right time to speak, and I will make it obvious. Until then, let your progress be silent and your peace be loud. I want to talk also about your mind, because the battle over your home is small compared to the battle over your thoughts. The enemy would gladly trade every scheme against your house for one permanent foothold in your thinking. Anxious rehearsing. Harsh words toward yourself that you would never speak to another. The habit of expecting loss the moment something good arrives. These patterns were not born in a day, and I am not condemning you for them. but I am telling you they cannot rule you in the place I am taking you. So renew your mind the way a field is worked, one pass at a time, season after season. Feed it my word daily, even a few verses held slowly, the way you would hold bread when you are truly hungry. Speak my promises out loud because your own ears are listening, and faith comes by hearing. When a thought rises that calls you worthless or doomed or forgotten, do not debate it for an hour. Answer it once with what I have said and move on. You are mine. I have plans for you. That is the end of the argument. And practice stillness, my child. I say practice because stillness is a skill, not a mood. The world has trained you to reach for noise the moment silence begins. Untrain yourself gently. Sit with me without asking for anything. Let your breathing slow. You will find that many fears cannot survive 10 quiet minutes in my presence. They feed on hurry, and when the hurry stops, they starve. In the stillness, I will also sharpen your discernment, so that when you stand up again, you will know things you did not know when you sat down, without being able to say how you know them. That is fellowship. That is how I have always guided my closest friends. Do not be discouraged when you stumble in any of this. You will forget some days and pick the old worry back up. You will replay an old scene before you catch yourself. When it happens, do not waste an hour on shame. Shame is just fear wearing a religious mask. Simply return. The door between us is never locked from my side. A righteous man falls 7 times and rises again, and the rising is what I count. I am not measuring your perfection in this season. I am measuring your direction, and your direction, my child, is toward me. That is enough. That has always been enough. Understand this about the way I bless. When I finally move, I do not move halfway. I do not repair one wall and leave the rest of the house leaning. I am the God who makes all things new, and I am making all things new for you. Not improved, new. There is a difference between a fresh coat of paint and a new foundation, and you have had enough paint to last a lifetime. This time we build from the ground. That is why I have been pruning your life so firmly, and I know the pruning has hurt. Certain people stepped away and never explained. Certain comforts were taken before you were ready to give them. Certain plans dried up in your hands. You looked at all of it and wondered if you were losing everything. You were not losing. You were being pruned, and pruning is what a gardener does to the branch he expects the most fruit from. The wild branch is left alone. The chosen branch feels the blade. Every cut made room. Every removal was measured. Nothing was taken carelessly, and nothing was taken that will be missed in the place you are going. I have also been enlarging you on the inside where no one can see. There is a capacity being built in you for the weight of what is coming, because blessing has a weight, my child. Influence has a weight. Increase has a weight. Men and women have been crushed under answers to their own prayers, because the vessel was never enlarged to hold them. I love you too much to hand you a harvest that would break you. So I stretched you first. The stretching is nearly finished and the pouring is about to begin. And when it begins, expect speed. You have lived so long in the slow season that slowness feels like the rule of your life. It is not. It was a chapter and the chapter is closing. There is a kind of acceleration that belongs to me alone, when I compress into months what ordinarily takes years. The plowman overtakes the reaper. One day arrives that carries 10 years of change inside it. Doors that ignored a decade of knocking swing open at a touch. When it happens, do not be startled, and do not shrink back saying, "This is too fast. I am not ready." I decide readiness, and I have declared you ready. Now hear the part of my decision that reaches beyond your own lifetime. I am drawing a line through the old patterns that have followed your family like a long shadow. You know the ones I mean. The struggle that repeats in every generation. The lack that keeps reappearing no matter who is earning. The quarrels, the heaviness, the way hope always seemed to thin out just before the finish line. These patterns presented themselves to you as if they were your inheritance. They are not your inheritance. They are trespassers on your inheritance, and I am evicting them. I have chosen you as the one in your line where it stops. Not because you are the strongest who ever carried your family's name, but because you are the one who kept turning to me. And one person in covenant with me is enough to change the direction of a whole house. Because of what settles in this season, those who come after you will start from ground you never got to stand on. The ones you love and the ones you carry in prayer will taste fruit from trees you planted in your hardest seasons. This is how I work across generations. One faithful life becomes a gate, and through that gate a whole family walks into open country. Your assignment then is bigger than your relief. I want you to sit with that truth because it will steady you on hard days better than comfort can. I am not blessing you merely so your worries shrink. I am blessing you so that you become a supply line. There are people you have not met yet who are waiting on the other side of your obedience. There are rooms where hope has never been spoken in a believable voice, and I am preparing your voice for those rooms. Your story, the true one with the failures left in, will reach people that polished sermons never touch. That is why the enemy fought you so hard and so personally. He was never afraid of your comfort. He was afraid of your testimony. He watched what was written over your life and tried to make you quit one season short of it. Every heavy assault you survived these past years now makes sense in that light. You were not falling apart. You were under siege and the siege failed. You are still here, still listening, still mine. The city held, my child, and now the army outside the walls is discovering that the city it failed to break is about to open its gates outward, not in surrender, but in campaign. So let your posture change from this day. You have been living braced like someone waiting for the next blow. Stand up straight, unclench, lift your head, not in pride, but in recognition of whose child you are. The season of surviving is ending, and the season of building has begun. Begin to think like a builder. Builders plan. Builders plant. Builders speak about next year without flinching. When you catch yourself hoping again, planning again, dreaming with your eyes open, do not scold yourself for it. That is not foolishness. That is your spirit recognizing the new season before your circumstances have finished changing. And in all of it, stay near to me. Not near to the blessing, near to me. The gifts I give are good, but they make poor gods, and everything I place in your hands is safest when your heart remains in mine. Seek my face in the years of plenty, exactly as you sought it in the years of need. And nothing I give you will ever need to be taken back for your protection. This is the long walk I am inviting you into. Not a moment of rescue only, but a life of companionship all the way home. If this word has found the deep places of your heart, seal it now. Speak the words, "Amen, Lord, I receive it," and let heaven record your answer. Now let me speak of vindication, because I have not forgotten what was done to you, and I have not forgotten who did it. I saw the ones who smiled at your table while working against you in private. I saw who vanished in your hardest hour, the very people you had carried when they could not walk. I heard the words spoken about you in rooms you were never invited into. You wondered sometimes if any of it was ever going to be answered. It is going to be answered, but it will be answered my way, not yours, and my way is cleaner, deeper, and final. Your way would be to explain yourself, to correct the record, to make them see. Let that go. You cannot argue a shut heart open, and you were never assigned to. My way is a prepared table. I set it slowly, with care, in the full sight of everyone who wrote you off, and then I seat you at it. No speech is given, none is needed. Your restored life does all the speaking, and it speaks in a language even your critics understand. The oil runs down, the cup runs over, and those who said it could never happen for you will watch it happen, at close range, with their own eyes. Until that table is set, stay low and stay kind. Do not rehearse triumphant speeches for people who hurt you. Do not collect evidence for a trial I am already conducting. When you see them, greet them in peace and keep walking. This is not weakness. This is royalty in training. Saul hunted David through the wilderness for years, and twice David held his enemy's life in his hand and refused to take the shortcut. He would not seize by force what I had promised by anointing. That refusal was the making of him. It will be the making of you. And do not be surprised that not everyone celebrates your rising. Increase reveals hearts. Some who were comfortable with you struggling will grow strangely quiet as you heal. Some will question favor they never questioned on anyone else. Do not let their coldness plant doubt in you, and do not shrink to keep them comfortable. A lamp is not lit to be hidden under a basket. You do not owe an apology for what my hand is doing, and you do not need a single person's permission to receive what I have decided to give. Remember also what I told you at the start. What I have decreed cannot be overturned. Read that truth again slowly, not by the schemer near your home, not by the helper they recruited, not by any curse spoken in any dark room, by any tongue, in any generation. No weapon formed against you will prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you will condemn, not by fighting, but by standing in the heritage I assigned you. When Balaam was hired to curse my people, the words turned to blessing in his mouth before they could leave it. That is what happens to words aimed at those I have covered. They arrive transformed, or they do not arrive at all. There will still be days in this transition when nothing looks changed. The same kitchen, the same bills on the same table, the same silence where you hoped news would be. On those days, the enemy will lean close and whisper, "Nothing happened. It was only words. Nothing is coming." Here is how you answer him. You answer him the way spring answers winter, by continuing. The frost does not argue with the seed. It simply cannot stop it. Underground, out of sight, roots are moving, and the surface always finds out last. Your breakthrough is presently underground. That is not the same as absent. Every prayer you have prayed is part of the root system now, and when the surface breaks, it will break suddenly. While you wait, I am at work in ways you would not believe if I described them. I am arranging encounters that will look like coincidence and will be nothing of the kind. I am adjusting the hearts of decision-makers you have never met, the way I turned the heart of a king toward Nehemiah before he had finished praying. I am recovering opportunities you grieved as lost, because in my economy, what is delayed is not destroyed. My messengers go ahead of you on assignment, clearing what blocks the road and holding what must be held until you arrive. You will walk into certain rooms in the coming season and feel that the room was expecting you. It was. Walk by faith through all of it and not by sight. Sight is a fine servant and a terrible master. Abraham looked at his own body in the long years and could have laughed the promise away, yet he grew strong in faith, being fully persuaded that I had power to do what I had promised. Be persuaded like that. not persuaded that the road will be painless, persuaded that I am faithful. Those are different persuasions, and only the second one survives contact with real life. If I lead you by a route that makes no sense, follow anyway. I led Israel out of Egypt by the longer road on purpose, because the short road ran through a war they were not ready to face. What looks like delay is often protection wearing plain clothes. What looks like a detour is often the only safe passage. You do not have the map, my child, but you have the guide, and the guide is better than the map. Maps do not love you. I do. So let your heart keep an even rhythm through the days ahead. Not the high of forcing yourself to feel victorious, nor the low of collapsing every time the evidence hides. Just a steady walking faith. Morning by morning, my mercies new, your trust renewed with them. Speak to me often and plainly as a child speaks to a father in the same house, not as a beggar shouting across a distance. That is what you are, a child in the house. You have never been anything less, even on the nights you felt like a stranger at your own gate. The gate is mine, the house is mine, and your name is on the deed I hold. And now, my child, lean in close because I promised you a key, and the moment has come to place it in your hands. You have waited through this whole message for it, and that waiting was itself a small picture of your life with me. Here is the revelation. The very thing you believed disqualified you is the thing I have chosen to build upon. You know exactly what I mean. There is a chapter of your story you keep folded shut, a failure you still flinch to remember, a flaw you have battled so long you assume it is simply who you are. The accuser found it years ago, and he has stood on it ever since, repeating one dark sentence. Because of this, God cannot use you. He said it so often and so quietly that you stopped noticing it was a voice at all. It began to sound like a fact. It is not a fact. It is the oldest lie he owns, and today it dies. Look at the record of the ones I have used. Moses had a grave in the sand behind him and a stammer in his mouth, and I made him the deliverer of a nation. Peter denied me 3 times by a fire, cursing to be believed, and I built my church on that same unsteady rock. Rahab had a past that her whole city knew, and I wove her into the lineage of my own son. Paul held the coats of murderers, and I handed him half the letters of my new covenant. Do you see the pattern, my child? I do not recruit around the broken chapter. I recruit through it. The world demands a flawless record. I ask for an honest one, and my strength is made perfect in weakness, not alongside it. So here is what the key opens. Stop hiding that chapter from me, from yourself, and from your own calling. You will not need to shout it from the housetops, but you must stop building your life around its concealment. The energy you have spent covering that wound is the very energy your assignment requires. And the people I am sending you to are not waiting for someone impressive. They are waiting for someone who has been where they are and lived to speak of it in a calm voice. Your scar is your credential. It proves the wound was real, and it proves that healing is real, both at once, and no diploma on any wall can testify to those two things together. And with the key comes the surrender. Give me the timeline. This is the last thing you are gripping, the secret schedule in your heart, the deadline you have privately set for when all of this must come to pass. Open that hand too. Not because your blessing is far away, but because clock watching is the thief of the very peace I am handing you. When you stop fighting the calendar, something in the unseen realm unlocks. The manna fell daily, not yearly. Walk with me one day at a time, fully present, and I promise you will not miss your appointed hour. It is not possible to be walking with me and be passed over by what I have decreed for you. So rise now, my child. Rise from the posture of the waiting room and take up the posture of the sent. Your home stands guarded, and you know now how to keep watch beside me without fear. Your heart is lighter by the weight of every record you handed over today. Your family line has a new gate, and you are it. Your enemies have a table to attend, and I have the seating chart. And your broken chapter is on my desk being turned even now into the opening page of the work I always had for you. Do not leave this word to fade like a dream by morning. Return to it. Let it settle into your bones the way rain settles into deep ground, slowly, past the surface, down where the roots drink. Speak pieces of it aloud in your house. Let your own voice carry my promises down your hallways until the walls themselves seem to hold the sound. A word received once is a visit. A word rehearsed daily is a dwelling. Make this one a dwelling, and carry it beyond your own walls. Somewhere near you is a soul in the exact darkness you are stepping out of. Someone rationing their hope the way the poor ration bread, certain that heaven has lost their address. Find them. You will know them when you see them, because you will recognize the look you used to wear. Tell them what I have told you, or simply pass this word along to them, and let it do for them what it has done for you. Rescued people, rescue people. That is the oldest chain of my kingdom, and today you become a link in it. Now receive my blessing, spoken over you as a father speaks over a child before a journey. I bless your going out and your coming in, from this day and forward. I bless the work of your hands, that it may prosper and not be plundered. I bless your table, that it may know fullness, and your door, that it may know peace. I bless your sleep, that it may be sweet and unbroken, free from the dread that once sat at its edge. I bless your eyes, that they may recognize my hand quickly, and your ears, that my voice may never again sound far away. I bless the ones you love, near and far, the ones you name in prayer and the ones you carry in silence too deep for naming. I bless your comings and goings through every threshold of the home I am guarding. Where there has been mourning in your walls, I decree gladness. Where there has been scarcity, I decree enough and then beyond enough, that you may give freely and lack nothing. And over every scheme still whispering in the shadows, I decree exposure and collapse, for no counsel formed against my covenant can stand. The watchers I have posted at your gates will remain at their stations long after this hour has passed, and their swords do not rust, and their eyes do not dim. Walk out of this hour differently than you walked in. Unhurried, because your times are in my hand. Unafraid, because your watchman does not sleep. Unashamed, because your record is settled in my mercy. When the old whispers return and they will attempt one last visit, you will find they have lost their grip, because a spoken decree of mine now stands where the lie used to live. I am with you always, my child, not with you as a distant watcher, but with you as breath is with the body, as light is with the morning. Nothing that meets you tomorrow will meet you before it has met me. This is my word, and heaven and earth will pass away before it fails you. Go now in peace, and go in power. The door is open, the path is lit, the decision is made, and it is good. Now, before my voice gives way to silence, answer your Father one last time. Let your amen rise like incense, and let it be the first word of your new life.
We run on viewer support only. For exclusive member-only content, scan the QR or see the pinned comment. God bless you.